Recently, a famous wedding from India, the Ambani wedding, was talk of the town, talk of the country, talk of Europe, talk of United States, talk of the world. The Ambani spent $600 million in a wedding, and the whole world was watching Google. The Indian wedding industry is estimated to be worth around $130 billion. Let that sink in. In fact, the Indian wedding industry is double the size of the US. However, it's still smaller than China. People in China spend more money on weddings than India. Wow, I can't believe it. In fact, people of India will spend more on weddings than they do on education. The wedding industry literally drives spending in India, especially food, beverage, jewelry, everything. Today, we're going to talk about food and the fad diets that people will go on so that they can fit into their beautiful, gorgeous, super expensive wedding outfits, wedding lehengas, wedding sarees, the sherwanis, the men, gorgeous, everything gorgeous. There's a wedding season in India. My dear, darling Indian brothers and sisters, why are you mimicking and copying the West? You have ancient Indian diet, the Ayurvedic diet that was given to you by your ancestors. There's also ancient diets that were followed in our neighboring countries, China, and so on. We do not need to mimic the West. I grew up in the 70s in India, and I was half a big body type. And a big body is considered bad in the modern world. In India, I was told by relatives, by neighborhood aunties, Monica, you will never have a good husband. Look at you. You are so overweight. Why don't you lose some weight? Then you will get a good husband. You spend all the time in the sun and you're so dark. You will never get a nice husband. You have to be good enough, lots of competition. I will never have a good husband because I was fat. And actually, I wasn't even fat. I was 120 pounds. I was a little bit overweight. And I have news for you, you bossy, interfering neighborhood aunties from India. I got a great husband. Thank you very much. And I found it myself. No arranged marriage needed. In fact, even overweight men want slim women as their wife in India. They also want a fair woman, and colorism is very rampant, especially in North India. So if you are dark brown, that's considered black. And if you're light brown, that's considered fair. And they want a slim, fair wife, a trophy wife, who also makes a lot of money. And the truth is, nowadays, women have a big shopping list, laundry list of stuff they want from their man, or the expectations are crazy. And that's why a lot of relationships and marriages don't work out. In fact, this program on Netflix, Matchmaking with Indians, was, I'm sorry, I loved it, but it was hilarious. Shows that we have high expectations, not just of others, but we have high expectations of ourselves, our body, and the life that we live. And we think there's something wrong with us, our life, our body, the world, and we need to fix it. And dieting will fix that. Being a kapha, meaning a big body type, is considered bad. You don't exist, you don't matter, we don't make clothes for you, you cannot be on TV, you cannot be in magazines, you're just the bottom of the barrel. So I dieted. Everybody was on a diet. There was this diet, that diet. I'm not going to get into the rabbit hole of how many diets. But if you're like me and you've tried many diets, you know they don't work. Diets are programmed to fail. Diets set us up for failure. In fact, ask anyone why are they dieting. Women diet a lot more than men. And why do we diet? We want to be thin. We want to be slimmer. We want to be more attractive. We think there's something wrong with us and our body type, and we want to fix it. We want to be accepted. We don't want to feel like we don't matter. Your body type is automatically considered unhealthy. And sometimes it is, but not necessarily all the time. So what do? What did the people in ancient civilizations of India, China, Egypt, Persia, Greece, what did they eat? They were on diets then. The so-called ancient diets that are popular now that propagate that meat and protein, the most important important nutrient is at the center of the plate is actually just an advertising gig. It's not true. Evidence actually shows, yes, even though they did have animal protein, but it was not the center of the plate. They had less than or up to 5% of animal protein. However, the rest was mostly vegetarian diet. Ancient people ate fish, nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables, legumes, tubers, flowers, potatoes, and used fire, used stone tools. Evidence show that there are some places only 3% of the diet was meat. Everything else was local fruits, local vegetables, berries, fruits, beans, whatever was available. In fact, in the Han Dynasty in China, the staple crops, which is the main source of their energy, was wheat, barley, rice, millet, and beans. That was the main source of energy. And they did have fish and animal protein, but that was just a side dish. It was not even the main source of energy. I once met a friend and her husband was complaining that he went to China and ordered chicken soup. And the chicken soup had very tiny pieces of chicken floating on it. And the rest of it was vegetable. He went on and on how disgusting is the chicken soup. Chicken soup in the US of A is full of chicken and fat, and there are no vegetables, and it's so tasty. And this person was genuinely aghast.
Well, I'm just a meat and potatoes man, and if I don't have meat on the table, I just don't know how I'm going to live, because I got to get that meat, or I got to get that protein.
I explained it to them. Listen, that's how the rest of the world eats, believe it or not. Whole grains, vegetables, starches, tubers are carbohydrates, and carbs have become a 4-letter word. I mean, if I had a penny for every time somebody said, I don't do carbs. I don't do carbs, yeah. Like, I do protein. This is such a made-up advertising of the modern world. I need my protein. I need my protein. I cannot do without protein, otherwise I feel... And protein should be the main meal of the day. Yes, people who are vegan should eat more protein. But in India, where you're lacto-vegetarian, milk is a protein. So protein was never the main source of energy of any ancient people. They ate lots of fruit and vegetables, pear, plum, peaches, melon, apricots, blueberries, jujubes, bamboo shoots, taro, and so on. And not everyone in China used dairy. Some did, some didn't. They also ate lots of pickles and eggs and soybeans. But main thing remained wheat and rice and beans. Chinese were also great hunters, and they did hunt animals. But like all ancient civilizations, they would hunt once and would eat the complete animal. But the rest of everything, the rest of the plate was mostly millet, barley, wheat, soy, and they also had soy wine, rice wine, etc. In India, one of the main sources of energy was millets and rice. Not wheat, millets and rice, maybe barley. In fact, millets have been such an important part of Indian history that you have archaeological evidence in the Indus Valley region of people using pearl millet and so on. And it's also been found in the Halar site in Karnataka, dating back to Neolithic age, which is about 2000 BC. Millets have been mentioned in Vedas and Puranas, and Yajurveda mentions cultivation of foxtail millet, barnyard millet, and blackfinger millet, and even millets are mentioned in ancient Tamil texts. And there's another significance that they were the primary crops cultivated in ancient times. Now, India is really, really old. Which ancient time? We're going back to the Mauryan Empire. We're going back a couple thousand years ago, couple thousand BCE. You're not going more than that, because millet was used even before. People who lived near the ocean ate fish, lots of vegetables, lots of fruits, beans, millets, rice. Again, that was the main source of their energy. Now, in India, parts of India, they consumed milk, parts of India, they didn't. especially in North India, more milk was consumed. Did you know that there's a connection between the China and the India farming techniques? And they changed because the British occupied India. There was a company called East India Company. And it was because of that and the opium trade wars that the ancient practices of eating these ancient grains changed. Luckily, in the last couple of years, especially since 2023, the government of India has done this amazing way of popularizing millets. So many people have started eating millets. Millets have become a way of life again. So things are moving in the right direction.